Welcome. In this presentation we're going to be discussing Quizlet, which is an online tool that enables you to create a dictionary of terms to enable your students to learn in a more gamified way how your terms relate to different elements within your subject. Just to illustrate what you're able to do with Quizlet, firstly it has a flashcard functionality which enables you to look through the terms, click, revise what the definition is, come back, look at the term again, see if you remember the definition, and basically work through that way. So that's one method of being able to use it. Another method you can use Quizlet is you can click on the Learn strategy. This will actually prompt you with a definition, ask for the term. If you're not able to answer the term, it's got a give up option there. It gives you the answer. It forces you to actually actively add the answer, and then it goes on to the next term. So that's a good way of training students or picking up what they really think they know but they don't actually know because it's forcing them, and then if they actually enter the term they're more likely to remember it. The next one is Speller, obviously pretty straightforward.
Felony.
It's basically giving me the definition of a term, and it's actually giving me the answer through speaking, and it's asking me to remember the actual spelling of that term. So in this case it's felony, if I spelled it correct. And then it will say the next term. So this is, again, particularly good with international students where you're trying to reinforce language skills. It's getting them used to how those terms are pronounced, as well as a feeling about how that word is spelt as well. So for a range of reasons, this is a very good tool, particularly for international students. The next tab you have is Test. So this is actually generating a multiple choice test based on the terms that I've quickly created before. So it starts off, it's got written questions, matching questions that you basically choose the right answer and type it in. Multiple choice questions, and at the end it will check the answers and it'll tell you, which ones you've got correct or which ones you haven't answered correctly, and then gives you a rating. The next one is Scatter. Make everything disappear. So basically this is about dragging the term onto its definition. If it's the correct definition, it will actually disappear. Okay, so that way they're getting a time. So there's a bit of a gamified element there. How quickly can they match the terms to the definitions? And it also creates leaderboards so students can compete against others to find out how great they are at solving the terms. The last option is a race, which again is a similar idea. In this case, what happens is the definition runs across the screen, and then they have to basically come up with the correct answer and type it down the bottom quickly before it comes across the other side of the screen. So if it doesn't, in this case, it'll actually tell you what the answer is. And so you type in the answer, you lose a point. Obviously the idea is to remember all the terms and remember all the definitions. So if you go to Quizlet.com, this is the main page that you'll see when you sign up. So the first thing you need to do is to click on the sign up button, which will take you through to the sign up process, which is relatively straightforward. After you've created your account, you can then proceed to log in. And this is the main screen that you'll see when you log into Quizlet. If you choose to upgrade to Quizlet Teacher, it actually provides an opportunity to get rid of the advertising and also some statistics on what terms your students are struggling with the most, so that you can provide that in-time feedback to help get them back on track. So the first thing you would do after you've logged in is to create a set of terms. Up the top, if you see the button there, it says create a set. So I'm going to create a new study set. I might choose general law terms. Terms that you need to know. Then you can choose whether you want it to be publicly available or not, and that's really a personal preference. If you have some terms which you may consider private, you might want to restrict that to a class or people with a password. And you can choose whether you'd like to have a discussion forum so that students can discuss terms and share ideas, and by default that's left on. Then the next section, you can enter your terms. So you can manually type your terms in if you want to. This is probably a more laborious process. There are a few ways that you can actually get the terms in there faster. One of those ways is the button there that says import data. So if you click on the import data, it basically you can copy and paste some data in. Now it needs to be in the correct format in order to be able to import it in. So if you've got a list of terms similar to this list in Word, they should be in the right format to use. So what I've done there is you can either put a comma or a semicolon between the term and its definition, and then I've got a line break after every term. So if I select all those terms, choose to copy them, come back into Quizlet and paste them there. On the bottom there where it says live import preview, you can see what's going to be imported. So the first thing I want to do is I want to, between the term and definition, I want to put a semicolon because that's what I've put in between my terms and definitions. And between the definition and the next term, there will be a line break. So you can see down there, it's got a green star saying that it's picked up all those terms. Import. And then it's actually imported all those terms. I can go in and make some changes. If I want to add another term, I can easily click there and add another term. I'm going to choose English to English. You may have the situation where you have international students who may not be familiar with some of the terms that you're using. So you could create a Quizlet for those students that has the English term, the definition in a different language, so that those students have that extra ability to go and find out the information they need to succeed in your course. So I'm saving that, and you can see now it's added that Quizlet ready to go. Another way of creating a Quizlet is you can actually choose an existing level of terms and then copy that Quizlet term bank and then edit it and modify it. So if I click on Search Quizlet there, I might be looking for law terms. Okay, and you can see it's actually come up with my Quizlet that I've just created, as well as a range of different lists from different universities and other organisations and institutions around the world. So it's really a matter of going through and finding a term bank that you like. So for example, I might look through this one here, and it's obviously mainly to do with legal proceedings. So I might decide, well, that's kind of closer to what I'm looking for. Okay. Up the top, it actually says copy. So you need to go looking for that little button that says copy. So if I choose copy, it will ask me what I want to do with that. So it's going to create a new study set. I might choose the same name. Obviously, this is talking to Miss Carrington's mock trial. So I might choose to change it to common criminal law terms and whatever other description I might want. And then I can look through here and maybe some of the terms don't really suit with what I was trying to get the students to learn. So I might decide I don't really want to talk about double jeopardy, so I'm going to actually delete that term. Or if there's a term missing, I can easily go down the bottom, add a term, and that way I've created a term bank much faster than manually going through and doing it myself. So that's another shortcut that you might choose to use. And again, same deal, when you've finished it, you hit save. One of the great things you can do with Quizlet is you can actually embed this Quizlet inside an iLearn course. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. It's a little bit technical, but I think if you follow the process, you shouldn't have too many difficulties. So first thing I do is I go to my Quizlet. I click on the share button. So I can choose to actually email this if I wanted to email this to other students. I can also click on more tools, and you can see there's a lot of different options there. What I want to click on there is embed. So embed is basically a programming language code that will tell iLearn to put this Quizlet inside an iLearn course. So I'm going to click on embed, and you can see these are the different Quizlet study modes. So I've been through those games, so you can actually choose a game if you want a particular game to be embedded. For example, if you had international students and you want to improve their spelling, you could select the code for the speller. Or you could choose scatter, just depending on what you're interested in embedding. Okay, so I'm going to just choose the flashcards, which is helpful for learning the terms. So you just click inside there. You just want to copy that code. That's the first step. Okay, and the next step is you need to put the embed code in. So I might just type in Quizlet. Quizlet for this week's class, you need to click on the HTML button, which pops up with this dialog box here, and you can see it's actually listed that Quizlet's already there. And I'm basically going to paste this embed code inside that. Just a couple of things that you might want to be aware of when you're embedding that code. By default, it chooses a particular height and width. So the width is 100%, so that basically means it's going to scale it to fit within the window. And by default, the height will be 410. That's talking about pixels and size. You don't need to know too much about that unless you decide you want to change it, in which case they're the two numbers that you will want to change if you want to change how it's going to look. I'll just quickly show you what that's going to look like. So this is my Quizlet. This is what it's going to look like inside iLearn. Okay, I can actually move through it. This is also tablet compatible. It'll work on iPads, Android devices because it's running off a version of Java, and it's also HTML5 compliant. The other thing is the students don't have to stick to this game. They can actually choose one of the other games. So if they want to play the space race game that I was showing before where they have to type in the definitions, they can actually play that directly in the browser. Okay, so a lot of flexibility with what you can do with the Quizlet. I hope that you found this presentation useful and that you might find Quizlet adds a little bit extra to your class that can engage your students in a new way.